Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you for jumping on in. Let's get into Bitcoin. Let's get it going. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. And let's jump into Bitcoin right now. See what's happening into the charts. Let me switch these screens and get us going into Bitcoin on this Sunday morning. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. So let's take a look at Bitcoin as we left you in this symmetrical triangle. Slightly bull pennant-esque, but it is a symmetrical triangle if I have to keep it real. So measured move to the upside would take us to 21,800. Measured move to the downside would take us to 16,997. We're still looking at that zone. However, I look at lack of bearish momentum here on the 4-hour time frame. I see a double bottom here on the stochastics, and I see a bit of a bull flag forming here on the RSI, telling me that price wants to make a bit of a move. I also see falling volume with falling price, telling me the sellers are falling to the downside, not able to hold. Also, when we go into the local area here, I see this local POC right there at 19,097. Did it twist up? Hold on. There it is. 19,000. Where are you? Stop moving on me. There you go. 19,079 right there. We must hold that zone. See how we've played with it. As long as we stay above it, we're going to be okay. All night, we had all night to dump. And honestly, right here, we could have started dumping really hard and fell out of the pattern. I kept saying that we can't lose this upward channel momentum. And I said we could even go down to 18,008 and I'd be okay with it. Remember? And I said I'd swing it down and change the trajectory of the pattern. I don't know if you remember that, but that was last night. I gave you an update Saturday morning at 8 9 a.m. I went live last night at 8 p.m. I'm back again here every 12 hours. You're getting Bitcoin updates. That's absolutely amazing. And if you were in my trading group, you got even more updates in between that. And let's talk about it. We took gains on ERN. ERN was in this tight channel. I started talking about it when it was here. We formed this channel. I started forming it. I said, man, this is likely to make a bit of a move. I saw it before it even began to happen. Eventually would fill out at 5 in the morning. I would update the trading group in the Discord. And I would say, hey, listen, this looks like it's likely to play out at 5 a.m. If you don't believe me, which you may be new and you're like, no, this guy doesn't wake up at 5 a.m. and do stuff like that. Yes, he does. Look, right here, time-stamped. And it was on my phone because I was lying on the couch. ERN getting tight, filling the flag perfectly so far, about to make a bit of a move. So I coach you through the idea. I coach you through the move. And I educate you on what's happening. I break it down. Then I go back in time and show it to you on a replay and show you how it happened yet again, show you the gains. And that's how you make 17%. Or even if you woke up and you didn't take it, you wake up to 9.89 regardless. So anyway, remember, irregardless is not a word, all right? Regardless is the word. So ERN for gains. Let's get back into Bitcoin. But you just would have gotten that gain had you been in my trading group, and more. It's not the only one. Horde also banged on them to the upside. So look, we're looking at Bitcoin in this symmetrical triangle. Just have to give you a little plug for the trading group. It's $99, $3 a day to have someone that works 7 days a week consistently for you. That's a blessing. So look, bounce here. Can we hold the zone? Super important. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. As we know, it's not in good graces right now. So look, 15-minute is attempting to do a shoulder, head, and a shoulder of some type. It is pointing down. Let's take a look at our 7. Our 7 is swinging. I like it. It could be bending on and kind of holding zone here. That's a bit of a shoulder, inverted head and shoulder, all right, that I'm looking at. We also try to break out of this falling wedge pattern, and we kind of broke back into it. So right now, and you could even like lower it and say we're in that zone, but I like this better. So right now, I'd like to see the 7-minute prop us up, and we can do this. So we can go up and down, up and down. We can squiggle all the way down to about 19,100, as long as we don't break that local POC here that I keep showing you. They keep showing up here, 19,080. We're okay. What I don't like is right now we're below that weekly support and resistance that I keep talking about, and that's important, right? We don't want to break it, which we did right now. Is 19,300, 19,280 area. That's those weekly candles. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to close, above that zone. Total market cap. One thing I keep talking about, if I get rid of this and look at it closely, is it needs to get back above the 200 simple moving average, the SMA. And right now, we're not getting that to happen. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen on the weekly. We have 10 hours to see if we can get a surge in price action above this POC, this point of control here at $904 billion, right? So right now you can see, and we haven't closed the candle below this in a long, long time. We are closing 2 weekly candles now below the SMA, the 200 SMA. It's not a good sign for Bitcoin. A bearish sign that one bearish sign is the idea that this isn't a flag right here, right? And this flag could break to the downside the whole length of this giant pole, right? Sorry, right here. And that could take you somewhere to, that's crazy, but like $59 billion, I mean, that would be insane. But do we break this mold? And if we break it, I mean, there's really no place for us to go but right around here. That's one zone, and right around there. So you're looking at like $500 billion, 487, or 421, and you'd be wiping out half the entire market. That would be Bitcoin at $10,000. So, and I'm just saying that's the worst case scenario. All right. I have ES1, which is the S&P futures, which has been tending to kind of front run Bitcoin. They've been working together. However, lately Bitcoin's been slightly decoupling. I look at the weekly. The weekly is finally getting low. I'd like to see if we can stay above the zone. And what I don't want to see is the weekly lose its simple 200 SMA. And right now, this right there, could we lose that? Very, very bearish time. So we want to see if we can hold the 200 SMA on the weekly for the ES1 too. So I'm showing you some deep, insightful things that you may not have known matter, but they do. And each day that we bring these up and watch them, we're closer to the truth, and we're closer to figuring out kind of what's happening in the zone. So can this cup and handle break to the upside? This slanted cup and handle inside of a broadening falling wedge is the question for the S&P 500. We'll be looking at that later tonight when the futures open at about 11. I think they open around 7 p.m. I'm not exactly sure, but they'll be open by the time we start the live stream, ready to rock. Look at Bitcoin here. This is another bearish scenario that it's in a descending triangle. If we break this zone, look for a short to the downside. I mean, measured move of the descending, the humble measured move is like here. Sometimes when the measured moves are just too outlandish, it doesn't make sense, and I've seen that play out. But that would be an $8,600 Bitcoin, somewhere into the $7,000 to $10,000 range if this doesn't hold as a double bottom. All right. Daily had room to come all the way up and really didn't do a lot of damage. However, the 3-day is the one I'm putting my stock in. It looks pretty good. And also, as if you haven't watched my channel before, and if you don't know what divergence is when you have a swing down in price action, but a swing up on the RSI. That is bullish divergence, and that's very strong. When you see it on a big time frame like the 3-day, it's a very big deal. You cannot ignore it and say it's not a big deal. It really is. We get above this POC on the 3-day, we are gone all the way up here to 30,000. So Bitcoin's sitting at a nice consolidated point too. So that's all the big stories. I just want to bring you the big story. I wanted to give you the win for ERN. Also, I want to close this FUD. Coinbase investigating problems with payments from U.S. banks. Crypto exchanges. Coinbase Global is investigating an issue that is preventing the company from processing payments and withdrawals with U.S. bank accounts. I think it's fine. I hope it's a back-end API. I'm not, I think we should trill the FUD here. I don't think it's like a regulatory thing. Take a deep breath. I think they'll be back up and running. And the reason is debit card or PayPal account. Account holders can still use their debit card or PayPal account to make direct purchases, it added. So, but that is strange that you cannot withdraw to your bank account today out of nowhere on October 2nd. It's definitely something we need to look at, but we'll keep you we'll keep on watch on that. Let's get back into BTC. Come for the TA, not for the news, even though that news is kind of big, right? So right now we're watching the 15 and the 7, and we don't want them to leave this channel. All right, 15 is the worrisome right now. It's the outlier because it's overbought and pushing to the downside, and it's in a bit of a way, right? It's in this here, and to me that's a bear flag that could definitely break to the downside. So we're looking for a move to the downside here, 18,900 if we can't hold inside the pattern. They could also, to me, kind of a bear trap this morning. If we bring this back up, to me, I believe they bear trapped you, try to get you to break the pattern, brought you back in. Super important we get back above 19,300. As you can see, that is the POC now on the bigger area, and that is the weekly support and resistance. All right, when we go local, it's 19,100 that we don't want to lose right there. 19,097 when we go bigger and we get more liquidity in the zone. So, what am I saying? Well, as long as the 15-minute can hold above this POC, as long as we can hold above 18,008, 18,009, bounce somewhere back into the pattern and be at 19K, then the 4 hour is likely to play out and get us a move to the upside. Also, the 1 hour has come all the way back down and is pushing for a bullish move. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin for the day. And even though it's a very sketchy day to trade, I'm bullish on the move to the upside for Bitcoin, bouncing off the bottom of this pattern back to the top at least. And Bitcoin's going to make a big move soon. And right now I'm looking at Bitcoin, get through the 15-minute. It's got to come down first, hold the zone, not break out of that bear flag. So we want to make sure this bear flag does not break to the downside. This is what we're looking at. All right. This is what we want that I just deleted there, but that's what we're looking at. All right. This is kind of a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, even though it's slanted and drunken. We call them drunken head and shoulders. Can the 7-minute save the day right now, push us back to the upside is the question, and get us to, move through this pattern. So we're watching the 15 and the 7 hold these zones. All right. We want to see that they can hold the zone, and the 1 hour and the 4 hour will take over, and we'll get our pump. At the very least, we'll get the 1 hour to pump us up here to the top of the channel, you know. And even if that just makes some tightness, and again, eventually, we're going to have to break out of this rocket ship one way or the other. Bitcoin is going to have a big move. It's coming. So whenever you see me put out a big, you know, a lot of times I put huge move coming. It happens like once every 2 or 3 months. I put out a big thumbnail, and it's not clickbait. It's because I'm at the tightness of a channel, and I know that there is a huge move coming. So remember, my thumbnails are tells for really what I believe is going to happen or what the TA is suggesting. So I use my thumbnails and I look at the TA first before I really say anything else. So I even have a long here up to about 21,800 with a stop loss at about, you know, let's say, where is it at? $18,310. So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm sticking to it. So you can see my idea here. And if it plays out, it plays out. I either get stopped out or I'm going to win. You can see what happens, right? So this is the Bitcoin update, kind of caveating it from last night. We're going to watch the 15 and the 7, make sure we hold the zone, 19,100 preferably. 18,008 is okay. We might even wick down, and they might scare everybody to get everyone to capitulate. As long as they bring us back inside the pattern, the 1 hour and the 4 hour can bring us out. Now, if we fall out, then we're bearishly going to dip, and that could happen, and we could begin to fall. So if we lose support and resistance zones, I'll change my tune immediately. It's all about support and resistance. I want to make that very clear. However, the probability for me is that 4 hour will break to the upside for Bitcoin. I'll keep you updated tonight at 8 p.m., so you're going to be able to see that and find out whether this, you know, projection or whatever we were looking at ends up playing out. So not too long from now, about 11 hours, I will be live, and we can kind of get right back down into brass tacks and figure out what's happening. So that's what I love about these morning streams. We get to get right back into the night stream and figure out where we're at. And I really appreciate everyone who's jumping on into these new morning streams. They're really, really awesome. Last thing I want to look at with you is Bookmap. Nice enough to show Bookmap for you here. This costs money. I have a link to Bookmap in the description. If you want Bookmap, Global and Global Plus, you won't have a better link. What is it showing me? It's showing me where the liquidity is holding, where people want to buy and sell Bitcoin on Binance Futures. I also can look at aggregated, OKX, Binance Futures, and Bybit, which even gives you more liquidity zones and ideas. So right now, look, it's looking like they are going to test the 19,000, 19,100 area, but then possibly bring us back up. And right now, it's actually suggesting there's more heat at 19,200. And we may never even go lower than 19,001. But there is a battle for liquidity right here. You can see back and forth on the exchange. Right now, if we look at it, there's a little more heat down here than up here, suggesting we do go to 19,000 first. You can see a long just got liquidated, a bit of a long squeeze occurring as we speak. But again, I don't think too many people are long right now. They have most people short, which tells me that we're likely to go to the upside because most people are not long. Most people are scared. So that's something that's on my radar and you want to look at every day here. Bookmap. And if you want Bookmap yourself so you can access it yourself, the links are in the description below. You won't find it cheaper anywhere else. Last thing I want to leave you with is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Just keep you up to date with that. And it is at a 24. I like to get in when we're at a 9, 10, and 11 in the heavy shaded region. Again, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor or do your own due diligence before getting into any project, coin, or trade. Everyone, that's my Bitcoin update. I gave you everything I had from the long term to the short term to S&P futures to the total to Bitcoin to the 15-minute all the way to the daily. And I don't think anyone else is going to give you a more thorough investigative technical analysis than that. So everyone, I even showed you where I am and I put my money where my mouth is. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. Like I showed you the trade that I'm pinned on. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you are already doing the right thing. Here are the kids in the background. I got to go find out what's going on. Everyone, have a great day. I love you. Peace. Be safe. Cut it. Cut it.